This is the Detroit Sports Podcast Network.
Young Jarek would love to take my order.
Hi.
He works at the coffee shop just up the street.
Morning.
He's happy and annoying with a smirk the size of Texas. He's my coffee enemy.
Would you like a mochaccino? Or perhaps a cappuccino? Or maybe a frappuccino?
Said Jarek wearing the chinos. All I really want is a cup of coffee. So strong the spoon stands up, just a cup of coffee. All I really want is a cup of coffee. Give me a friggin' cup of coffee, Jarek.
Stephanie speaking. How may I help you?
Hi, me and my friends, the reminisces, are wondering if we could book a table for the Super Bowl.
Of course. How many you got?
Well, it's me, Bruce, Gary, Jerry, Tim, Tom, Bruce 2, and Carl Jr. We're all kind of just hoping to get there Sunday around 6. Is that okay with you?
How many is that? 10? 6 people?
Well, that's about 8 to 9 people. Bruce Jr. is a maybe.
I'm going to say 10 people.
Mm-hmm.
And you said what time?
Whenever whenever they kick the ball off, because we the Ramidinas, we love the football game,
Yeah.
Men in
I think
tight.
the game starts at 3:30, so
Yes,
are you guys going to get here that early?
Well, yeah, I'm still on Eastern time. I'm sorry, but yeah, we'll be there.
That's okay.
We'll be there.
Okay.
We'll be there.
So I'll say 3. How about 3 o'clock? I'll write down. So I can reserve that. Or what's your name, hon?
Gary Senior. Do you guys have a dress code?
Make sure you wear clothes and shoes.
Ooh, I like the way you think. Yeah.
I guess. I mean, I don't know. But yeah, so I wrote it down here for Sunday. Try to give him a call tomorrow just to confirm this.
Okay, we will.
Can you do that for me, Gary Senior?
Yes. Thank you so much. You've been a very much helpful woman.
Right. Perfect. I will see you then.
If I wasn't gay, I would ask for your number.
Oh, you're sweet.
All
right, Gary. We'll see you on Sunday. Give him a call tomorrow just to confirm this, okay?
Thank you, sweetness.
You're welcome. Bye.
See you. Hi, hello, Coffee Nation. Welcome to episode 17 of the Coffee with Friends podcast. I'm your host, Carl Coffee. With me once again is my sidekick, Tim Anderson. How are you, Tim?
I'm doing great. How are you, Carl?
Bad weather has prevented Tim from coming to the CoffeeTimeUSA.eu studio. Tim, you're from Michigan. How can you be scared of this weather in Northern Virginia, you pussy?
It's not the weather, it's the people. They can't drive when it's fine outside.
That's a good answer. Our guest today is my good friend. This is a big show. It's Ryan, the Keith Bullard. How are you, Ryan?
I'm doing great, Carl. How are you?
Man, that's a great mic. Dude, you sound really crisp. Anyways, guys.
Actually, I got it off an ad on Craigslist. You should try calling people out from Craigslist. They've got some good mics, man.
We'll talk about that. Listen, we remember the Overtime Sports Network, boys. You can check them out at otsportsnetwork.com or on Twitter at _OTSN. Also, the Detroit Sports Network. You can check them out at DetroitSportsPodcast.com or on Twitter at Detroit Podcast. So, Ryan, I've known you since 9th grade. You've been a big fan of this show. It's good to finally have you on. We're just about to end our Throne of Awesome cycle. So this is big for you, Lots riding. So this podcast broke up into 5 segments. We have a song of the week. We have a story time is back, boys. We have Stump the Expert, 8 to 1, and the main segment. This show is called Tom Brady is not, in capital letters, not the GOAT. GOAT stands for greatest of all time. Can't wait to dive into that. Bullard is very opinionated. Would you call yourself that, Bullard?
I mean, I don't think it's an opinion. It's a fact. No, I guess I have a very unpopular opinion. He's kind of cementing his case, though, making my argument weak, but we'll see.
So our song of the week is Tom Petty, I Won't Back Down. We talked about Tom Petty last week, Tim. You remember that?
I do, Carl.
So I was playing some Tom Petty, and I'm like, holy cow, this guy is great. He made the Final Four for the Super Bowl halftime performers. He made a deep run as a 5 seed. And I'm just like a big Tom Petty fan now. Bullard, Tom Petty songs stand out to you?
Honestly, I mean, he's all right. I'm probably the worst person to randomly ask an artist's song names because I don't remember any song names, even from people I like. But I mean, yeah, my dad used to love him. Probably still does. That's probably the biggest memory of a Tom Petty that I can think of. I mean,
so I was talking to Bullard off before we started recording. He's like, I miss the prank calls, the live prank calls, whether it's Craigslist or calling a church or something. But we also got away from story time. So I'm bringing back story time. So Bullard, remember 1998, like September of 98?
Oh, we're talking like 20 years ago?
Yeah.
Probably not.
So we were sophomores in high school. We were locker partners. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And the world was pure. Columbine.
I remember you had hair back then. I remember that.
Oh, wow. Well, edit that
Damn.
out. Columbine and 9/11 weren't a thing. So, we weren't as scared. You understand? You see where this is going?
I mean, I'm guessing where it's going, but go on.
So we were pretty much nobodies in 10th grade, and then all of a sudden, things changed for me. I all of a sudden became the mad bomber.
And I was still a nobody.
What do you remember from that mad bomber? Why did I get that title?
Well, you want me to recap this entire story?
I want to see what you know, because we didn't plan this out. I didn't talk about this beforehand. I kind of want to know what you remember from this, and then I'll fill in.
Okay, the order of the events is really difficult for me to pin down. The main thing is one day I remember school being. I thought it was like in the middle. I don't know. No, didn't they clear it before school even started? They realized there was no.
It was a Sunday. Yep.
So we still went to school, but then everyone's talking about, somebody called in and some bomb threat. Honestly, man, this is a long time ago. I don't even remember how you told me what happened or anything. The most overwhelming memory to me is that there was a school newspaper article written by students at the school that they were just baffled as to who this mysterious Zorak 18 person was. Because what happened was the infamous Zorak 18 on AOL Instant Messenger sent somebody from our school a message saying that you're going to blow the school up. And his mom happened to be some school administrator or somebody. So he told his mom, and you just made a bomb threat as a result of that. But yeah, honestly, the overwhelming memory to me too is that like nothing ever happened to you, and everyone knew that it was you, and there was no consequences, and they were still like, it was like a lot of the teachers I feel like knew, and a lot of people knew, but they still acted like they didn't know. It's kind of weird.
It would be like placing 10,000 landmines on a football field and saying you have to take every single perfect step to avoid a landmine, and if you do, you're going to get out scot-free.
Right, but it's really weird because I thought, I don't even know how you broke this story to me or how I heard about it, or I don't remember any details. It was too long ago, man.
It was a long time ago. It was.
It was pretty insane that you never got caught. You never got any. I mean, did anyone even scold you about it?
No, it's weird. Like,
let alone get a suspension, or I feel like teachers like respected you. Some teachers liked it or something. It seemed like almost.
Yeah, we had a teacher who was going to retire who said, "Good for you. Good for you. This school needs to go." And I'm like, all right, thanks, Mr. Weeda. But listen.
I was going to say Weeda, yeah.
It was a Sunday. And we were given email addresses of students. And AOL Instant Messenger was a new thing. So anyone who had an AOL email was automatic on AOL Instant Messenger. So I just messaged this random guy who was an 11th grader. And I said,
so you didn't even know that was...
I didn't know Jason Harris, yeah. But anyways, I go, listen, I just moved here from Japan, and I placed a bomb in the school. Like an idiot. Like, I'm 15 years old. Why would I say that? And he logs off, and I think nothing of it until Friday. This was Sunday. I didn't think any of it till Friday. And I find out later, because we become friends, he goes, yeah, I told my mom. Mom told the school. School told the police. Police told the FBI. They searched the whole school, realized this is a fake claim. School goes on. Friday.
They were on the hunt for this infamous Zorak 18 ever since. They might still be looking for you.
We had a bi-weekly or a monthly paper, but it just so happened that the paper came out that Friday. Front page. And I wish, my one regret in life is not having a quarter to buy that paper so I could still read it today.
Oh, man.
Zorak he was the band leader of Space Ghost Coast to Coast. 18 is my favorite number. Zorak 18, he became legendary. And here's why.
Infamous, dude. I want a copy. Someone out there has a copy of this.
Here's
paper.
why I never got caught, Bullard. Because there was not a prize, or, you couldn't get money for turning me in. People realize, coffee's it's a big name at Woodhaven High School. We're not going to turn this guy in. His mom's a teacher. His sister was president of the school council years ago. So we're going to let this go.
His locker partner is Ryan Bullard.
Yeah. So I got off. And, man, I went from like 0 to hero. People were like, wow, you're not a loser. Come sit over here, eat your cheesy breadsticks with us. My life changed after that. So it was interesting to see.
You really like feel like you gained like popularity from that event.
I don't know if popularity made me notoriety. And it was just because, there's so many things that came into place at the right time. Like I said, I started the story off. If that was after Columbine or after 9/11, there's no way. They would have went above and beyond to find out who I was, Yeah,
but here's the problem, though. You would have been smart enough to not do it after those events.
Well, we're not going to go into that. Who knows? So that story time, it's back. Anyways, Stump the Expert. Bullard. I like this.
No.
We had a guy last week do bowling. A few weeks ago, we had a guy do wrestling. Now we have a guy doing tennis. Tim, do you know anything about tennis?
Not really.
Yeah, seriously. Bullard is a huge Rafael Nadal fan. The Spaniard. Great player. Lefty.
Hey, bueno.
Loves to play on clay. So you ready for this, Bullard?
It's actually another sport that you could do a great GOAT debate, but that's a different topic.
You ready to be stumped?
I'm not. I haven't done any research on it. This is just going to be. Stump me. Let's go.
Who did Nadal defeat in the 2008 Olympics to win his first of 2 Olympic gold medals?
8 Olympics. Honestly, that's like some of the most insignificant to me tennis matches. I mean, I don't think I've ever watched a single Olympic match. I don't know. Whatever. Del Potro, maybe? I don't know.
Was it Sampras?
Fernando Gonzalez of Chile. Sampras in 08. Tim, you fool. He stopped
That's why I'm here, Carl.
I've never heard of this guy, Fernando Gonzalez. But anyways, so we stumped him.
I haven't either.
Right.
That's cool. You stumped me.
Hey, that's good. That's 2 in a row. Anyways.
That's something I would never have known, ever.
So we're all Lions fans here, right, Tim?
Yeah.
So imagine
regrettably.
Imagine if the Lions either folded, which obviously would never happen, or they moved away, which could happen. Probably won't. So we have to choose a new team. We have to. We're like, all right, we love this sport too much. We have to choose a new team. But I'm not going to make it easy on you guys. Or Bullard, this is on you. I picked the 8 most miserable fan bases. You have to choose one of the 8. And just to let you know, the Lions came in at 5. So I actually, it's, 8 of the 9.
Yeah, I have to say, this is just a pretty rough 8-1 topic. When I saw the show sheet, I'm just like, this is depressing. We're in the midst of the coldest spell that we've had here in 5 years, and so it's already just gloomy and depressing around here. And then now I've got to pick. Not only are the Lions awful, but now I can't even be a fan of them, and I've got to pick from one of the other most miserable franchise. This is just, I don't know. Okay.
That's it. No, I get your point. Tigers.
Well, I gotta say, my second team is one of the 8.
I'm looking at all these teams are just, oh man, I don't want to root for these teams.
You said you haven't been listening lately, but the 8-1s have been pretty predictable. So we wanted to do a hard one. So you're our guinea pig.
I feel like this isn't even hard though.
Well, it's the pig got to be a guinea.
So
there are 2 obvious answers, and I feel like it's gonna. Well, I don't know. The finals will be interesting, but that's about it.
So we're going to go through the first round. Me and Tim both get a veto, but we can't veto in the championship. You understand how this works?
Yes, sir.
All right. So the first matchup, the Cleveland Browns, who, they won 7 games, versus the Oakland Raiders, soon to be Las Vegas Raiders. Who do you got?
I mean, I really like John Gruden and his turkey hole comments. You know, that's a whole new level of commentating, and that's probably where he belongs. So, obviously, I'm going with the Browns here with the future. The Chubb, I think, is the running back, and Baker Mayfield look like they look great, man.
Yeah, and
that's not even a question right there.
Sticking with the Midwest, no veto here, Tim.
Carl, as you know, the Browns are my other team, and I've got to say the 3 first-round draft picks don't even look that sexy for the Raiders. I'm going Cleveland too. All
right, next, the New York Jets versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Bullard.
Honestly, I mean, who do the Jets have? Darnold and.
Man.
I don't even think I can name another person on that team. I can't. I mean, and then the Bucs, they've got Mike Evans, the wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
And don't they have a quarterback controversy going on with?
Oh, they do. They have Fitzmagic and Mr. Crablegs.
Which I wouldn't want either one of the. Can I just move on? Neither one of these teams is making it past this round or the next round. So, I mean, let's just go with alphabetical. B, Buccaneers, comes before Jets. B for Bullard. Yeah, Buccaneers.
No veto here. B for Bullard. All right. Tim, veto?
No, I got to say, Tampa Bay sucks. The city, the sports teams, it's all terrible.
Thanks, Tim.
No. Yeah, no,
I agree. You can veto me if you want.
No. I mean, the Jets are no better.
I mean, can you guys name who else is on the Jets? I can't believe I'm blanking. Like, I literally cannot name another person on that team.
Like Jamal Adams.
Jamal Adams.
Yeah.
I don't even know who that is.
He's the guy who tackled the Patriots mascot.
Sounds like a winner. I mean, I want to switch my vote, maybe.
That's fine.
Switch my pick.
Let's go to the bottom half of this bracket, okay, Bullard?
Sure.
Yeah. The Chicago Bears, the NFC North rivals, you know. They won the North this year, upset by Philly. They're taking on the Miami Dolphins. Who do you got?
This reminds me of the first matchup. I mean, it's not even close. Like that Bears defense, and I mean, I'm not sold on Trubisky, but he's better than whatever the Dolphins are trotting out there. So,
is there anything? Is that, and also geographical, you know? Right?
Oh, wait, so you're saying I have to move to one of these places?
No. But you know, it's kind of, does it come into play at all?
Well, I'm still living here, so.
Yeah. You know,
I mean, I guess I'd have to travel. I mean, I'm going to become like a diehard fan of one of these. Oh, man, I can't.
Maybe
this is awful.
I shouldn't have said anything. It's weird. It's weird to think about. So
I'm trying to think again, though. Okay, the Dolphins, that's another team that who is their quarterback? What is this? Is Cameron? Oh yeah, that's right. He's extremely mediocre. Does Cameron Wake play for them? Is it
still? Yeah, he's like 36.
And Sue left them, and I can't. That one they had a good receiver who got traded. I can't even.
To the Browns, Jarvis Landry.
Yeah, so I mean this is why are we talking about this so much? This is Bears all the way.
All right.
And yeah, I'm going based off of chance to win because I don't know what other criteria I'm all that worried about. Becoming a fan of some other team that I'm obviously not moving.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Care about where their city or anything.
So the last matchup here is interesting. You got the Bills. Everyone knows what they did in the 90s versus the Redskins. Me and Tim's a new local team. They're miserable fan base. Anyways, Bullard, who do you got?
I mean, this is another one that reminds me of the second one. Like neither one of these teams is making it past the next round. So, and didn't the Bills have a quarterback that threw like 20 interceptions in 2 games or something earlier in the season, and that Peterman guy and
Peterman sucks. Gruden signed him.
Wow. And then the Redskins. I mean, Redskins are just there's just nothing to get excited about with that team. I mean, what? Yeah, I mean, I'll let Tim pick.
Oh, okay. Who do you got?
Do I have to pick?
No, I mean you don't have to. Tim, what do you got?
I can't.
Well, I've got to say that.
Tim, convince me. Make a good case for one of these teams, and that'll be what my vote is.
So the entire case that I have is kind of like Kelly Stafford. Like Monday morning, the Bills Mafia lowlights usually make me feel better about life. When those Bills fans do the absolute idiotic stuff and someone ends up going to a hospital, or someone's getting an HJ or an old-fashioned if you're nasty in the stands. It's just super funny. Or throwing dildos at referees. I'm going to laugh.
Wait,
I just find the Redskins to be terrible.
What the hell did he say? How did that help at all?
What did...
I said they're funny.
Matt Stafford's wife have to do with any of this?
Yeah, like Monday mornings after a Lions game, after they lose, her tweets are gold.
Oh, yeah.
And I equate the Bills fan base to Kelly Stafford. Just watching the idiotic stuff they do makes my day a little bit better.
All right, hurry up, pick. We're running out of time.
No, I mean, I love that. Go with that.
The Bills all the way.
All right, we're running down this show pretty quickly with Ryan the Keith Bullard. He's a good friend of mine. Tim's here as always.
Hello.
Bears, Bills, Browns, Bucks, all move on. Wow, you picked all B teams. Did you even know that?
I mean, two of them were pretty much random, but yeah.
Bullard.
Oh, actually, no, that wasn't random.
That's kind of funny. All B teams. Anyways, here we go. The main topic. Tom Brady is not the GOAT. Ryan the Keith is going to answer some really hard questions to try to convince Coffee Nation that Tom Brady is not the greatest of all time. And I'm curious to see how it goes. Maybe he'll convince us, Tim, right?
Maybe. I doubt it. Maybe.
Let's just jump right in. He's playing in his 9th Super Bowl. He's 5-3. And you can look at all the games he won and say, if one thing changed, he could be 0-8. But you can also kind of turn it around and say, well, maybe he could also be 8-0. I don't know. So, Bullard, straight up, is he lucky to be 5-3 in the Super Bowl?
I mean, I would say yes and no. I mean, there's so many lucky situations that I feel like he should very easily be 3-5. I mean, there's and that's extremely reasonable in my opinion. If you look at the Atlanta game and then the Marshawn Lynch, don't hand the ball off to Marshawn Lynch, let's throw the ball play. I mean, that's just two of the worst coaching gaffes I've ever seen. I mean, to be real, I mean, if you look at the situations in both of those games, what was Atlanta up?
28-3.
How do you lose that? If you look at the projections, I don't, you go on ESPN where they have expected win percentage, they had to be 99.9% to win that game, and they just had horrific game management. They're trying to throw too much instead of taking time off the clock. I think there was a really bad interception late in sometime in the third quarter or something. Is he not lucky to win that game?
Yeah, he is.
And same thing with Seattle. I mean, you got arguably one of the best running backs in the league at that time, probably the best rushing offense, and that rushing offense in general will probably go down as one of the best that the league has ever seen, with Wilson at the helm and Marshawn Lynch and their offensive line. What do they even have? 1st and goal at the 2 or something?
Yeah.
And they throw an interception? I mean, is that Tom Brady? Did Tom Brady divine, somehow use telekinesis and move that ball? That wasn't Tom Brady. That was Butler, who inexplicably was benched in the next Super Bowl. But,
Yeah, Bullard, but it's a game of inches. They were a couple plays away from beating the Giants twice.
Okay, but here's the problem. You keep talking about how Tom Brady's 5-3. Is it him, or are there 11 other guys that take the field, 10 other guys that take the field on the offensive side of the ball with him?
Can we talk about?
And then there's 11 guys on the other side of the field. And then how many people do you think see the field in a typical game on a team? 25, 30? How many different guys? In the mid-30s, maybe? With you talk about special teams. You want to put all this success and failure on one player and say he's the reason? Because I'm sorry, if you take Aaron Rodgers and put him in New England's system, do you think he's 5-3 in Super Bowls?
Don't jump ahead. We got a question about that later. Can we go to the next question? You made your point.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I mean, you're asking me if he's lucky.
So what's
I'll say
the
he
answer?
is and he isn't.
Well, that's weak.
Well, I mean, he is. I mean, I'm not saying that he had no role in it. I'm not saying he's not a great quarterback.
All right.
And obviously, there's a very strong case for him being the greatest of all time. Whether or not you can even talk about greatest of all time is a whole different topic. I mean, what greatest of all time? How are you going to compare different eras, different, what? That whole conversation doesn't even make sense to me. But if you want to say is he lucky or not? I'll just say yeah, he is.
Fair.
I mean, look at the Atlanta game and look at that Seattle game. And look at some of the clutch kicks that Vinatieri made.
Can we talk about Belichick?
Sure.
Is he the real genius? Does he deserve the real credit?
I mean, it's hard to say behind closed doors what happens, but if you look at last week, it was just a great example of Belichick and I don't know if that's his coordinator outsmarting Andy Reid's defensive coordinator, or I don't know what happened. But if you watch what happened in overtime, and I think it was even late in the game, when they needed to convert a 3rd and 10, what do? They split Gronkowski out wide. Chiefs have no answer. Every single time, it's a 10-yard reception. What are they doing? Double him. Do something about it. But no, I mean, Belichick just outsmarts everyone. And, he also uses a little bit of unconventional and taking advantage of rules and flat-out breaking rules. But, I mean, if you see what they do with that team, I mean, what they're doing in the salary cap era makes no sense and should not be possible. And that's not Tom Brady doing that. That's Bill Belichick and whoever else is in that front office. Whoever Robert Kraft has, maybe he's a big part of it too. I don't know. It's all under him, right? He owns the team. I mean, whatever's going on with that organization, though, it's a lot bigger than Tom Brady, and their success is a lot bigger than him.
So we have Tim here who says he's a fan of the Browns. Remember when Belichick coached that team? What happened?
Oh, what happened?
He didn't win, just like he didn't win when he had Drew Bledsoe.
No, they went to the playoffs.
Did he? Yeah, but did they win the Super Bowl?
Yeah, they went to the playoffs, and then they moved to Baltimore and became the Ravens.
No, I get it.
Oh, look how successful that organization. I mean, not as successful as New England, but maybe he set the wheels eventually. I mean, I don't know if this is helping. Defense. I don't know if this. I mean, do you think Belichick? What are you trying to say here, Carl? You don't think Belichick is a genius?
Belichick
you don't think
resurrected Vinny Testavor's career, built a great defense, and then they magically go to Baltimore and become winners?
No, why can't we just say it's 50-50? Why can't we just
How is it? No, because it's not. How do you get that? Where do you get that 50-50?
He had a hungry young quarterback, just like what Garoppolo would do if he had him. He had
Garoppolo?
Garoppolo? Jimmy Garoppolo. You know what I'm talking?
I like that pronunciation better.
But listen,
pronunciation.
He had a hungry quarterback who was sick of being mistreated and not respected. It was the perfect marriage.
He wasn't mistreated or not respected. I mean,
he was.
Look at his combine numbers. Look at how pedestrian he is in general at the quarterback position. When was he drafted? 6th, 7th, 8th? I don't even.
6th round. Ryan. We weren't old enough to appreciate.
He wasn't being disrespected. I mean, that's just the guy that he was, the player that he was. I mean, sometimes they don't recognize talent. He got his chance though.
Okay, so we're going back to it. You went with yes the first one. Are you going to say yes or no? Is Belichick the real genius? Yes or no?
Well, I mean, this isn't. You act like this is some binary question. I mean, obviously they both play a part in this. It's just, to me, if you look at a lot of these games that they've won, it's not Tom Brady putting the Patriots on his back the way other quarterbacks do. Did you see what Mahomes did last week? Some of the throws that guy makes, moving outside of the pocket, he completed a pass with his left hand earlier in the season. Like, some of the stuff that he did, that he's done, and what has he played? A full season? He's played one season. He's already made more clutch and just impossible throws than Brady's made in his entire career. And I mean, Brady's good at not making mistakes. Brady's good at, that's another point I want to make from this game, the Chiefs game last week. How often did the Chiefs even touch him? And when they did, it was a roughing the passer penalty that was, I'm not really sure what they saw there. The guy put his arm on his shoulder and it's roughing the passer. But aside from that offensive line kept, as a Lions fan, to see a quarterback completely unmolested for an entire game like that is just baffling. And I don't know if you watched the first half, but it was pretty much run game and defense. Brady did nothing in the first half of that game. And so, like I said, this isn't some binary question. They both definitely have a part in their success. But are you asking me to say which one has a bigger part? Because Belichick is the bigger part. You could insert any good quarterback into where Tom Brady is, and he'd have the same success that Tom Brady has had.
All right, and we'll talk about that.
You can't replace what Belichick has done. You cannot. Tell me how, in the salary cap era, how is he doing this?
That's actually in my notes.
We talked about that 2 episodes ago.
Who are these players? Who is I can't even. Didn't he? Who is this fullback or running back that scored a clinching touchdown last week? I don't even know who these people are.
Bullard, we got to move on.
I don't even know where they came from.
But that's what I get it, because I kept saying that.
This is a long
he's
topic,
winning.
though. I mean,
he's winning in a league that should be dynasty proof.
Exactly. What's happening is obviously if you got to pick between Brady or Belichick, it's Belichick. It's not even close. Anyone who disagrees with this is just wrong. I'm sorry.
And there's some arguments for your side, like what Tim said. He took the Browns to the playoffs, and he set that team up to win because that team moves to Baltimore, and look what they became. So I get it. That's something you could really.
You don't even need that though. Just look at look at the Patriots.
All right, last one before we go back to 8-1. Is he a cheater? Is Tom Brady a cheater?
Well, how is this a question? I mean, he was caught cheating. So
yeah, but like
the answer, boom, done, move on.
Our Patriots,
we're low on time, right? Let's just move on.
Our page actually from 2 weeks ago said, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. What do you say to that?
I mean, I understand I appreciate the nature of that type of response, but you're still cheating.
No, is that all you want to say about it? Because I don't mind a short answer.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen this. What is he, a 10 or 12-year-old kid that did the science experiment, and he actually proved that underinflated balls travel further. So it actually was a competitive advantage to have underinflated balls. And you look at how much of a control freak Brady is. I mean, obviously he orchestrated this thing, or whoever around him, he knew what was going on. His phone all of a sudden disappeared. Like, obviously he cheated. Why is this? He cheated. I mean,
what if the Jaguars did that? I mean, Deflategate was overblown because it was the Patriots, right?
Well, anything with them cheating is going to be a big story. I mean, I don't understand the question. I mean, of course, some team that's losing, but they're cheating to do it. Who cares? I mean, they're still losing. No one even cares. The Jaguars, I mean, I forgot they were still in the league. Is Jake Delhomme still the quarterback? Oh, no, that's...
Yeah, but is Deflategate...
Mark Brunell, that's what...
Is Deflategate enough?
That was a Panther.
Is it enough to throw his whole reputation into question? Really,
I mean,
like the amount of air in the ball.
That's a moral debate. I mean, and I don't know how. There's reports that other quarterbacks did similar things, and I don't know if that was one of those. I don't know if that was one of those.
The next season, and there was no fine or penalty.
Yeah, I don't know if that was one of those. Everyone does it, but no one ever. It's kind of one of those unwritten, like, just leave it alone, just let him,
let's end this now.
So-and-so quarterback likes it the way they like it, so let him do it.
Let's end this now.
Finish this, Carl.
He broke the rules, and
so
by definition, he's a cheater. That's it.
All right, so you said yes to Lucky to be 5-3 in Super Bowl. You said yes to Bill Belichick being the real genius. And
I said yes and no to the first one.
And you're saying yes that he's a cheater?
Yes.
All right. You ready to go to the semifinals of 8-1?
Oh, yeah.
You kind of made
these are the really tough. These are going to be really tough.
You made it very obvious who you won in the finals, so this should take no time at all. You got the Cleveland Browns versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, Browns.
Yeah.
Move on.
Young, hungry Midwest, just like this team. Yeah. The Chicago Bears versus the Buffalo Bills.
The Bears.
No vetoes here, Tim.
Yep, we go.
We're moving along with Ryan the Keith Bullard, my guest, my friend, and Tim as my sidekick. The Bears and the Browns had a feeling that it would be the finals of the 8-1. We have 3 more questions left for the main topic. And let's just think about things in depth, because I like to slow down sometimes. We weren't old enough to appreciate what Wayne Gretzky and Michael Jordan, arguably the greatest athletes in their sports, what they did in their early years. Tom Brady, he started his reign of winning when we were 18 years old, Bullard. We've seen him do everything when we were prime football fans. So for you not to realize the greatness in him, it's kind of disturbing. Does that make sense?
I never said there's no greatness in him. I just said he's not the greatest of all time.
And also, he went to Michigan, your school.
Yeah, that's another reason that I really despise it, because so many people were looking to jump off the line. I mean, come on. What were we, number 5? Number 5 most miserable fan base? I mean, everyone around here is looking for an excuse to jump on another team's bandwagon. What better an excuse than a Michigan quarterback going to the New England Patriots and then winning a Super Bowl? Oh yeah, I love Michigan. I love Tom Brady. Yeah, I'm a Patriot. I feel like there's more Patriots fans in my office right now than there are Lions fans, and it's disgusting.
All right, so Tom Brady has had a relatively healthy career, except for the 2008 season, the year after that amazing 16-0 run, and then when they were upset in the Super Bowl. And then he missed 4 games because of Deflategate. And in those 19 games, the Patriots went 13-6, okay?
And Matt Castle looked like a Hall of Famer.
So my question to you, Bullard, 19 games without Brady, 13-6. Does this matter? Or should we just move past it?
I mean, it matters just as much as the 5-3 Super Bowl. It matters just as much as, other meaningless stats that you want to attribute 100% to Tom Brady to say he's the greatest of all time, even though his team's the one that's winning, even though Belichick is a genius. It is a pretty insignificant sample size, but at the same time, they went 13-6. And like Tim just said, Matt Castle looked like that. How many teams were going after him after that season?
Well,
He looked
the
great.
Chiefs spent a whole lot of wampum to get him, and let me tell you, he was wretched.
What did he do after that? And can you explain that, Carl?
I didn't take a side here.
Oh, I'm just asking you a question though.
I know.
I want you asked me if I could if it matters. I mean, I'm pretty sure it absolutely
It's
does.
13. It's not.
I would like a big.
It's not.
It's not a huge sample size, so I mean, it doesn't mean a whole lot, but it definitely means. I mean, they really didn't need Tom Brady.
It helps your
for those
argument.
19
It helps
games,
your argument.
Did they?
And I won't even bring playoffs because they went 11-5 without him, and because of like once in a lifetime unlucky, just craziness, they missed the playoffs. You go 11-5, you're making the playoffs 99 out of 100 times.
Oh yeah, it was some weird tiebreaker or something.
It was like the Chargers got in at 8-8. It was a weird. This playoff.
I mean, yeah,
the
for me
season
to-
was weird that year.
For anyone to say that doesn't speak to how good the Patriots are, I, mean,
I would never bring that. I would never say
backup comes in and they still should have made the playoffs.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
they just
yeah.
didn't skip a beat.
I mean, the Patriots went 11-5 this year. They went 11-5 and 0-1 the year they won the first Super Bowl. So, this is an argument for you, Bullard. You should take this question and just bury us with it.
No, I mean that's the thing. I'm not biased. I'm looking at everything and being objective. And I'm sorry, but 19 games. It definitely helps my case. It's not like the end all be all. I mean, it's
Okay. No, that's fair.
They didn't even make the playoff.
I respect that.
But if you look at what Matt Castle did, and you look at Jacoby Brissett, he won one or two of those games, right? And Garoppolo was, and the jury's out on both of them. I don't think Brissett's going to really do much. Garoppolo is supposedly this franchise injured right now, but it's hard to say because.
So we're going to move on to this question, and I went off my top of my head, and there could be more. I have 4 quarterbacks who I think you might put ahead of Brady all time. And you could think of it this way. If these quarterbacks were in Tom Brady's situation, or if they were Matt Castle, what would happen? And it's Aaron Rodgers, Joe Montana, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees. We're going to go one by one. And you can make it quick or go into detail. Just straight up tell me if they're more talented than Tom Brady. You ready?
Sure.
Let's go. Aaron Rodgers, 1 Super Bowl. Is he better?
Yes, that's not even a question.
Okay.
I think there's quotes of Brady himself probably saying that he wishes he was as talented as Rodgers.
What about Joe Montana, 4-0 Super Bowls?
That's a toss-up, and I was pretty young when he was in his heyday, so there's people that would swear that for sure he is. I can't say either way for sure. Honestly, I could go either way. I could say either one for that.
What about Peyton Manning? I mean, that's the rivalry for so long. He went 2-2 in Super Bowls.
I mean, yeah, honestly, I think Peyton Manning is a slightly better quarterback, talent-wise, than Brady. I think if he was in New England, they might have 6 or 7 Super Bowls by now.
And do you think it's unfair?
The problem is, I mean, his body didn't hold up, so it's hard. Are we going to talk about longevity? Are we talking about
No.
But are we talking about both of them in their prime?
It's your criteria, but I mean, is my criteria, is it unfair? I mean, is basing it on Super Bowls, is that unfair?
Oh, that's a great question, and of course it is. Is Dan Marino better than Trent Dilfer?
So,
Is Eli Manning better than how many does Peyton have? 3?
He has 2. He's 2-2.
Oh, so are they equal? Is Eli and Peyton, are they equal? I mean, why are we basing an individual player's entire career and legacy and talent level based on a team accomplishment where they're not even on the field half the time?
No.
And the other half the time, they might be handing the ball off half of that time. I mean, how many plays is the quarterback directly involved in? 30%, 20% of a team's plays? I mean, but yeah, let's just rate their entire careers based on a team accomplishment. That makes sense.
What about Drew Brees?
Wow, I mean, I feel like it's another toss-up, but I mean, Brees is quite talented. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, that's another one I feel like you can go either way with. I feel like if you switch teams and put Brady on the Saints and put Brees on the Patriots, I mean, I I feel like it's not going to be a huge difference.
Is there anyone I missed? Anyone I missed that you're like, dude, Carl, this guy's better than Brady. He just didn't have a great team, didn't have a good system.
I mean, if you're talking about from a quarterback talent perspective, I feel like Mahomes, even though he's so young and doesn't have much time under his, he's got one full season, right? I mean,
fair.
They're totally different quarterbacks, though.
From a talent perspective,
Perspective. That's what I'm saying. Like,
well, style, because he can do things that Tom Brady simply could not do. So to me, that
or
he's way more
anybody
talented.
else.
Like it's exactly. I mean, he's obviously more talented than Brady. I mean, and I don't even care if he goes on and doesn't win another Super Bowl or if he doesn't win a Super Bowl. That guy is talented, man, and nobody can deny that.
You know, it's the only sport where we maybe a little bit in basketball, but you don't really count the rings in other sports. But for some reason, for NFL quarterbacks.
Oh, NBA, man. It's all Ron versus Jordan. That debate is all about the rings, and that's another situation. At least in that situation, it's one player has a much bigger impact on the game, so it makes sense. But, anyone playing against the Warriors, it's...
No, I get it. That's why I said it, but there's just so much value in NFL quarterbacks and rings, And
it makes no sense. I don't understand it. Someone has to explain it to me. Because how many teams have won purely on their defense and running games? Wasn't that the old school way to win football games?
It is.
That was the only way to win football games.
But
Isn't that what the Lions are trying to do?
But Bullard, based on your answers, I'm seeing here that you only really have Rodgers and Manning ahead of Brady.
Well, no. See, here's the problem. You're forcing me to answer questions that you're asking me. I don't think this greatest of all time debate is even plausible or valid. I mean, you can't look at the different. Look at the. Do you want to go play defense in the NFL right now? Or would you want to be a defender, say, 20, 30 years ago?
Of course, 20, 30 years ago.
So how do you compare quarterbacks from back then to now?
You can't. It's impossible.
You can't look at their numbers.
I know. I get it.
And, I mean, how do you compare people like that? How do you say, oh, this person was the greatest of all time? How can you say that?
That's what upsets me about you is you're going to the past when you've been seeing what Brady's been doing since you're 18 years old. Like, you've been living through this greatness, yet you're refusing.
That makes you biased. That makes you and everybody else in this time period biased. And you want to say, oh, the quarterback that we witnessed is the greatest of all time.
It's
not
the
these
opposite.
Other guys that we never saw, that we don't know anything about. We don't want to talk about them. We want to say that Tom Brady is.
Man.
Doesn't make any sense.
Tim,
how can you tell me that he's the greatest of all time?
Tim, do you ever wish
Are you comparing him to every single other quarterback of all time?
Tim, do you ever wish you were like
some guy that lived in some Cambodian jungle somewhere that threw a ball? He can throw a ball 300 yards.
No, listen.
In the air.
Let me talk. Listen, Tim, do you ever wish you were
Uncle Rico.
22 years old when Wayne Gretzky was in his prime? Like, we're finally seeing an athlete do this, and we're not accepting him.
Gretzky. How many championships does he have?
I don't know, like, what, 7, 8? I don't know.
Aren't there some hockey players that have more than him? Why aren't they the greatest of all time?
Listen.
Because that's a team sport.
Oh, yeah, not like football. Football is just one player.
You ready for
the focus always?
Can we move on?
It's your show.
What I don't get with Bullard is he's living through this finally, Wasn't alive during Ruth.
Okay, the biggest part
too young for MJ.
The biggest reason why
too
I
young
can't
for Gretzky. Now he has Brady, the best football player of all time, and he's not.
The biggest reason I can't
it.
call him the greatest of all time is the eye test, man. You cannot tell me when Peyton Manning was in his prime, in command of those Colts teams, that he wasn't better. Just watch the throws that he makes and look at what Brady does. Look what Brady tried to. He tried to lose it. Well, look at what's Brady's line against the Chiefs last week. Yeah, I keep harping on this because I just saw it, and this is the most recent thing that for me to compare anything to. The guy threw 2 picks and should have thrown the third pick of the game by him, and it was the game-sealing pick. He tried to do that, but thankfully some Kansas City linebacker named D decided to line up in the neutral zone. But if he doesn't do that, Tom Brady just threw the game away. But he's the greatest of all time, guys.
Yeah,
and he won a coin flip. You want to talk about luck? If he wins this year, if KC wins that coin flip, they're doing the same thing that the Patriots did. They're marching down and scoring, and the game's over. So that's a 50% chance right there that he won. Is that lucky?
It's a game
50-50 shot. Lucky, not lucky, whatever.
Game of inches, dynasty proof, 9 Super Bowl appearances, and you're blind to the greatness.
And who is that? Who is the real person behind all of that?
It's a 3-headed monster.
We got that earlier.
Owner, coach, quarterback, man. 3-headed monster.
Yeah, but what has the quarterback done that so much? Compare his career numbers to any of these guys that you're talking about.
After a while, you have to.
They're very, very similar. I did a while ago.
No, Bullard. After a while, you have to take luck
Manning's
out of the equation.
They're pretty similar. And what's hilarious about it too is Peyton Manning has this reputation for choking, but if you look at his numbers against Tom Brady's in the playoffs, I feel like I'm pretty sure their quarterback ratings are like maybe a few points apart. I'm talking about in the postseason.
Those are fake numbers.
It's just, whatever narrative happens. Whatever narrative the media decides to drive and say, that's what everyone believes. So sure, he's the greatest of all time because that's what everyone just goes along with and believes.
Are you ready for the
Statistically speaking, Thomas Edward Brady is the best quarterback of all time. Statistically speaking.
See, he gets it. Tim gets it.
And that's not even including Super Bowl wins. And yeah, you know what? He's.
What do you mean
not
statistically speaking, though? Based on like what stats are you talking about?
He is.
Like I said, I said.
Okay. So passing yards, he's in fourth.
Okay, you're talking about total. Yeah. Okay, he's played for how long?
Yeah.
I understand. How many quarterbacks have the career that's long enough to be able to throw that many passing yards? And I'm pretty sure that one of them is active right now.
His numbers are double Joe Montana's. Double. Yeah, and didn't we just get to talking about different eras? That's why I said you can't even compare numbers. But my point was, his numbers aren't even off the chart at you. He doesn't do anything that's like, oh wow, that's just he's just dominant in some category.
He has the clutch gene, Bullard.
He's a member of
the clutch gene. Is that what caused him to throw that game-losing interception that got called back?
He probably knew he was offside. That's why he made that throw. I
don't know. If you know you have a free play, you throw a 5-yard pass. Okay.
Let's go to the last question. Can we go to the last question?
I'm sorry, but answer that. Do you really throw a 5-yard pass if you know somebody was off? I feel like you take a shot there if you know you have a free play. So no, I don't think he knew that. I'm pretty sure he threw an interception and he threw the interception.
Can you just answer this last question?
And still, okay, Tim was talking about numbers. He was talking about raw numbers, total yards, total
facts
this
and
and
data.
that. All that talks about is his longevity. The guy's going to play until he's 50. So what? Does that make him the greatest of all time? That makes him the greatest at eating garbage of all time. Do you want to eat his diet? Because I don't.
That's unfair. He's 41. You don't know he's going to play till 50. Seriously, 50, Bullard.
I was exaggerating, but he's probably going to play until a lot longer than most of the other guys that you're comparing him to. Brett Favre, wasn't he number one in all these categories not too long ago? Was he the greatest of all time? Why was nobody talking about him being the greatest of all time?
They were, though. That's the thing. They were having that conversation. Just nobody cared.
Nah, I never heard anyone talking about Brett Favre as a great. Nobody put Brett Favre above Joe Montana. Nobody.
Bullard, your grandkids are going to be so jealous that you got to witness Tom Brady. It's like my papa watching Babe Ruth. I'm like, that is so awesome. You got to see the greatest athlete in that sport. I can't believe you're so blind to the greatness, Bullard. It's sad.
Well, I can't believe you're so blind to the fact that it's a team sport. And like I said, last week's game was just the perfect illustration of that. You have the running game. You have the defense. They didn't win because of what Tom Brady did. They won because they shut Mahomes down in the first half. Because they ran the ball down their throats. And because Bill Belichick, quite simply, outcoached Andy Reid. You watch the end of that game, how many 3rd and 10s did they convert? And how many of it were unconventional plays where the tight end lines up out wide, and he just outsmarted him, man. Was that Tom Brady? He made a throw, but go look at the throws he made to Gronk. I could have made those throws. You could have made those throws. My mom could have made those throws.
Last question. Simply put, is he a system quarterback?
But can you tell me that?
We have to move on.
What is so good about him in a game?
He made the throws in the AFC Championship on the road. Simply put. Answer the question.
Well, he made the throw that should have lost the game.
Can you call him a sister quarterback after all these years? Is he a system QB? Is that ridiculous?
Well, what is it? You have to define that term for me, because he plays in a system and he's a quarterback. So he's also his success is a byproduct of his system. Have you seen how clean the pocket is when he plays? That's another thing that you're just not even addressing. You're talking about his numbers. You're talking about all this other stuff that he's done, all the championships and whatnot. But what about his offensive line? Were they not a part of that? What about the scheme? What about his receivers being open? What about Gronk? What about Edelman? What about Randy Moss?
Just answer the question. You have 20 seconds.
The list goes on and on.
You have 20 seconds.
What about the defense? What about Wes Welker? What?
We have to move on.
What about Vinatieri? What about Belichick?
God, you're willing to give anyone credit but him.
I've given him credit. That's what I'm saying. Okay. all I'm trying to say is that just coming out and saying that somebody is the greatest of all time at something, just because, and your main argument is that he's won Super Bowls, and last time I checked, it was a team sport, and he's 1 out of 50. How many people are on the active roster?
53.
And you're just saying that, like, oh, it's him. He's the greatest of all time because he won this team sport. He won He by himself won all these Super Bowls.
You disvalue the quarterback position. There's no position in sports that's more important. Number 2 is hockey goalie. Come on, it's the quarterback.
If it's so valuable, how did Joe Flacco win a Super Bowl?
Defense, but that's one Super Bowl.
How did Trent Dilfer win it? But it's the most important position.
You go to the most extreme cases.
Exactly. No, because my point is that that's not extreme. A team can there's. Like I said, I already broke it down. What percentage of the plays does a quarterback throw a pass on? Half the time.
Half.
Half the time.
60%. Yeah.
No, half the time his team's on defense. And then what about special teams?
No, you said
he's not on the field
30
either one of those.
30, 40. You're right. But that's still a lot.
And of course, I mean, it's definitely the most important position. It's just you got great quarterbacks like Dan Marino that didn't win titles.
Right.
Does that make them worse? Does that make them worse as a quarterback just because their team couldn't put it together? Though, I mean. I'm sorry, but Stafford, even though I'm really down on him right now, he's a better quarterback than the Lions' record shows, than the Lions' lack of playoff success shows. And I'm sorry, you got to separate the two different things. There's playoff success, which is a team thing, and then there's individual greatest of all time, whatever else you want to say about how skilled somebody is. Because I'm sorry, eye test. That's the last thing I'll say. Go watch Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs, and watch what he does with the football. And then watch Tom Brady and tell me he's the greatest of all time. Watch him with the Philly special play where he tried to run. I feel like his feet were made out of lead.
Hey, I'm not asking you for the greatest.
The guy is not skilled.
He's not the greatest athlete of all time. He's the hardest working. He had a chip on his shoulder when he was picking the 6th round. He told the owner,
"Best decision if you're not cheating, you're not trying."
At some point, you can't ignore the numbers. Okay?
What numbers? The teams winning Super Bowls? Because I thought we already talked about how it should be dynasty proof. This era of the NFL, no one should be able to do this. So that's not the quarterback. I'm sorry.
Especially the quarterback getting paid like a third of what most quarterbacks are getting paid.
Okay, we know.
Part of it is, yeah.
No, I get it, but I mean,
but why does it? I just don't understand. Why does a team winning Super Bowls? How does that?
But why does nobody?
He's the best quarterback of all time because his team won a bunch of Super Bowls.
Bullard,
it doesn't even make sense. And plus, I already discredited 2 of those Super Bowls. Shouldn't even have happened.
But why
they should not have won 2 of them? But I didn't have time to break down all the other ones. I didn't look at them. Maybe those Giants ones they should have won. I don't know.
Ryan, though, why does no one talk about the coaches for like Wayne Gretzky or LeBron James or Babe Ruth? Because it's
a different game. Scheming in the NFL is so like the Patriots can morph into so many different teams depending on who they're playing. You don't see that in hockey. They're just throwing the puck at the goal. Even in basketball, I mean,
you'll find any way to discredit Tom Brady.
People do. Look at how many people have talked about Phil Jackson and Greg Popovich and.
I didn't mention Phil Jackson.
Well, I'm just bringing up people talk about coaching, but it's not talked about in hockey because I just don't think it's as big of a factor.
Can I give you?
In hockey, can you design a play that just scores a goal? Can you do that?
Can I ask you one last?
No, answer that question. I'm asking you a question.
You can put your team in the best position. Can I ask you?
Can you design a play that just scores a goal? Because in the NFL, you can design plays that have huge success or huge failure.
No, those plays absolutely do exist. Hockey has plays.
I'm not saying it doesn't have plays, but I'm saying that the impact of what you can do with a different person. I mean, you're managing 11 different people.
Bullard, can you just hear me out?
5 on 5. We got
to move this on.
Much more complicated and so much more complex.
We got to get this move on.
You're asking me questions and I'm ansering questions, man.
I don't know
what you want me to do.
Where would you rank them all time? Give me a number.
I already said I don't do that. I mean,
fine.
How can I can't compare him to.
No, that's.
I can tell you he's definitely he's one of the greatest of all time for sure. But just to say that he's the best quarterback or the greatest quarterback of all time is just. I don't know how you can say that. Other than you just want to be a part of something great. Like you touched on it already. You sound so we're witnessing it and we can tell our grandkids and blah 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 blah. Like, okay, I mean you're just biased, man. You want him to be the greatest of all time. You can't tell me he's the greatest of all time.
I have. We got to move on. Let's go back to 8-1. Cleveland Browns or Chicago Bears? Who would you root for if you had to?
This seems like really anticlimactic. I just jumped to that, but and actually, this is the toughest one of all these matchups. Wow, I guess I have to go with the Browns. Honestly, I just only because NFC North. I've never really liked the Bears. I really do think they have something good going there. That defense is ridiculous, and once again, I mean, yeah, how much credit you want to give Trubisky for what the Bears did this year when their defense is what carried them?
Oh, nice angle there. Cleveland Browns, though, good choice.
Oh, and that's another thing I forgot to tell you. Thanks for reminding me this. What can you name the teams that are in the Patriots division?
Dolphins, Jets, and Bills.
3 teams that were in this 8-1 as having the most miserable fan bases because those 3 teams are miserable. And you can't discount the fact that the Patriots get to play them. That's 6 of their games every year, right?
Cool. So
and they always lose to the Dolphins.
Yeah, that was a crazy ending. That was a crazy ending this year to that one Dolphins game.
What do you think, Tim? Do you agree with most people? Are you on?
You put the Lions in that division, they're perennial playoff contenders.
What do you think?
Not contenders. I'm sorry. They'll just be in the play.
Let Tim answer. Is Tom Brady the best?
I just wanted to make my point, though. That's a big part of my point. Look at the division they play in.
It's 6 games. Yeah, they go 5-1 every year. Right?
But you have nothing. Like, that's huge.
Let Tim talk. Come on.
So this is like a multi-layered question. It's super loaded.
Bad. Sorry, ass.
I'm gonna say no. Yeah.
Wow. F you. Bullard convinced you.
I convinced you?
No, God no.
Wait, what are you saying? You're saying no to what?
You didn't convince me of anything. Statistically, he's one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Absolutely. Throwing the Super Bowls, absolutely one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time.
Statistically.
But like athletically, oh hell no. He does the most with what he has, and I don't think that can be argued with. Like, if I could get paid how much money he makes throwing 7-yard routes to running backs or tight ends or some poor guy running across the middle, I'd be the happiest man alive.
Poor guy running across. I feel like you're making my point. Because you plug Aaron Rodgers or any actual good quarterback into that position, and they win more.
He's the perfect quarterback for that system.
Fair. Let's not get back into it, though. Tim, F you. I'm sorry I asked. And also, here we go. This is it now. 4 months into the show. Is Ryan Bullard? Wow.
No.
You already said no?
No.
Ryan Bullard is not worthy of the throne of awesome. Sorry, Ryan.
Yeah, like I said, most people don't appreciate logical arguments, and they want to give a guy a bunch of credit for a team winning games.
You know, Ryan, when I met you, I always thought you would be a great lawyer, and you didn't get into law, but if you ever needed something to fall back on, I know it's more school, I think you'd be good at it. I've been told that before, and it was actually I debated it for a while, but then I realized how much you have to read and how much you have to show up to class and be diligent and hardworking, and those aren't really attributes that I embody. So, all right, so that's Ryan. I'm going to plug something real quick. Mikey and the Degenerates podcast is joining the Overtime Sports Podcast Network. Can't wait to hear them. Do you guys bet on sports? Because I don't. I have always said, don't bet on sports. Sports is an escape. It would ruin. But I'm glad the network is adding a gambling show because there's some people who look at it differently. Bullard, have you ever bet on sports?
I've been tempted. There's been some lines that have been like crazy that were really tempting to bet on, but no.
I'm the same way. And then I just say,
no, I'm not a gambler. I used to play online poker for a living, but I'm not much of a gambler.
All right, Tim.
I lost a lot of money on a sure thing, and I haven't bet since.
I can see how it could be intriguing, though. If that's your thing, more power to you.
All right, so we're going to jump in February. We're going to jump right in. There was 4 professional sports teams: hockey, basketball, baseball, football, and most sports have almost 32 teams. So the team names are going to be battling until we get one winner. It's going to be a long process. So what do I mean by that? So say we do NFL first. It'd be like the Lions versus the Packers. An actual lion to someone who packs cheese. Or whatever they do. Who wins?
Yes.
And we're just going to go through. We're going to go through the whole NFL, NBA, NHL, Major League Baseball, and they're all going to battle until we get one winner. It's going to be fun because this is
a lot more fun than our 8-1 topic.
It's not even 8-1. That's going to be the main topic. Bullard, I invite you back if you ever want to come back on.
I don't know.
I appreciate someone.
I feel like Tim. I don't like Tim very much. So
nobody likes Tim.
Nobody does. Nobody likes Tim.
All right, let's end this though. So for Ryan the Keith, I am Carl Coffey, and Tim is my sidekick. We'll talk to you next time. See you.